Welcome to the Out of Bounds podcast with Jake and Sam, where we talk about all things gay, sport, and culture. If you haven't done so already, then please like and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you're using. Today, we are joined by our first ever guest. But before that, we have something to discuss. Right, so one of the listeners sent me a message and said, I think you should talk about kinks and fetishes more often. So I proposed, Sam, that we do a kink of the week each week and talk about different kinks. We're not too sure how we go around talking about them, but I just thought it would be a fun, out of bounds topic that we could bring up each week.
Listen, I'm all about it. I don't want to come across as like kink shamey because people are into whatever they want to be into. You know what I mean?
I also agree, but there are some fetishes that are kind of like that's because I think fetish feels negative, right? But I don't think it necessarily is. It's just it's different to the norm, which we already are because we're gay. So I feel like
fetish is kind of like
some which are further out of the realm than others.
Out of bounds.
Yeah,
I mean, like your fetishes are kind of like described by like the categories of porn that you watch, right? Or like, I mean, maybe that's a generalization.
I guess so, yeah. But there is porn for everything, isn't it?
There does seem to be porn for everything.
I'm currently on a website.
Jesus.
It's 36 fetishes every gay man should know. And number 19.
Okay, this is good. It's educational. Let's do it.
Number 19 is guns, as in like weapons.
You know,
a phallic-shaped instrument of power. It is no surprise that guns are heavily fetishized. So anyone who has a gun...
That can't be true.
Anyone who has a gun is basically gay.
Well, yeah, definitely. But I've never thought of a gun as looking like a dick. Have you? I've never thought of it as like a particularly phallic object. But Jared and I were watching a show called The Leftovers. It's an older HBO show with Carrie Coon. And she does have something about like wearing a vest and getting shot in it. I think it is like a weird sexual thing. I shouldn't say weird. Yeah, I think it is a sexual thing. Okay, I hope you're happy with Kink of the Week. We'll
Kink of the Week is guns.
This.
If anyone has a kink for guns, let us
know. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, moving on. Next segment, LGBTQ&A and in the closet. So this week I put on our Instagram for people to give us their anonymous confessions because we were nervous that when we were just having the confessions directly to our DMs that people weren't going to be as honest and they weren't going to be as, really raw. And so we did the anonymous thing and I think it worked out. I'm excited about some of these.
Right. You've sent me a few.
I've sent you, a few. Let's read them off.
Go on, you go first.
Okay. I used to call Why are you laughing?
It's just funny.
I used to call Apple customer service and pretend to be an upset uncle whose nephew used his phone to download Grindr and demand they remove it from my purchase history. And I would repeat this every 3 months or so. Just the lengths that people would go to. Okay, your turn. I've
not read this, so I'm a little bit illiterate, so I feel like I need to read things like 4 or 5 times. I used to get really nervous when I used to speak. You got me to read at school, and they were like. So anyway, I've gone all kinds of way. 7th grade gym class was honestly really traumatic. My teacher was a mean man, and he bullied me in front of the entire class. I think this is part of why I'm kind of afraid of exercise. I associate it with mean straight boys who bullied me. How can I reframe my relationship to exercise? That's a pretty common thing or theme, right? Is that people like I remember speaking to someone and he was like, I used to pretend to write notes from my parents to my PE teacher so I could get out of PE. So like you're not alone in that. I definitely feel like there's like 2 sides and I'm probably on the other side. Is like I went to the fitness and sports side to hide the fact that I was gay. Whereas some people aren't lucky enough that their authentic identity is a little bit more obvious. So therefore they are a victim of said mean PE teachers or mean pupils. But the question, I guess, is how do you reframe that relationship with exercise?
I think majority of people have the experience of gym class as being really intimidating and a really negative experience growing up. And so it's very frustrating to me because it seems like schools haven't done anything to fix that.
Yeah, I feel like that. Is it more of an American? I guess that problem definitely happens in the UK, but I feel there's definitely more like, I don't know whether that's just TV programs and things that we've watched, but like a jock culture in America. Like my school didn't really have that in terms of like, yes, natural groups form. That's just society. Like you put 50 people in a room you're probably going to go to your kind of, you'll find your people or people similar to you, and like it's just society, right? But I feel like it definitely feels like more of an American thing where it's like it's cool to be mean, or like it's cool to be like a bully. Like I feel like that's kind of fantasized a lot within TV programs and films and things.
I don't think that it's completely fake, but I do think it's school to school.
Yeah, okay.
But I also just wish that people, it's so detrimental to have negative gym class experiences, because I do think that that sets you up to never want to exercise for the rest of your life. Why would you want to go to the gym if every time that you had gym class was a traumatic, terrible experience for you? That drives me nuts. It means that as adults, we just don't move our bodies. That sucks.
I guess I don't have necessarily an answer. I think you just have to, there's a lot of spaces now where like you can be gay and do sport. Like for example, we've got run clubs here in the UK where it's like gay only essentially, or there's cricket clubs. There's a lot of sport. So if there's any sports that kind of, if there's any sports that bring you joy by watching them, or you feel like, oh, I feel like I might want to do that, then that could be a good opportunity to, one, meet people similar to you in terms of like gay athletes or gay people into sport, or two, I would just find like we've kind of spoken before, like a more community-based gym where you can potentially, depending on your financial situation, have a little bit more hands-on coaching that can kind of educate you and show you how to move your body. Because if you haven't been able to move your body from a young age, you might not have that kind of what's called proprioception and like mind to muscle memory. And I found that quite a lot when I was personal training in the gym, is that some people just, they don't have that kind of, as I say, brain to muscle ability to just do a squat. I'm like, and then sometimes as a PT, I was like, what do you mean you can't squat? Like just squat.
Yeah.
Just basically
totally.
sit down.
Sit down.
It's a lot more people than you would assume. So I think having that hands-on and other people in the room that are kind of, I guess, struggling with you in terms of like, because fitness is not easy. So that helps.
I would just add as well that not all gyms are the same, because I promise you there are gyms where the coaches there are going to treat you like a human being and help you, even if you are at what you consider like 0% athleticism or fitness or whatever. And if you're going to a gym where you feel like the coaches there are belittling you or kind of treating you like they were when you were in high school, leave. That is not a good gym. But not all gyms are the same. And so kind of keep on looking, because you'll find one that does work.
And I would also, when you first go to that gym, find the owner and express and say what your situation is. And then it allows them to be a little bit more empathetic, and they might not be the right place for you or whatever. But I think like being open and transparent as early as possible gives you the biggest leg up in terms of potential progress and people understanding, and the coach being able to maybe address the room and say, Jay's come in, he's recently come out as gay, he's finding it a little bit difficult. So if we could just show him a little bit of support. And that's the element of what a community gym should be able to bring to you. From
most likely they'll be able to say like, this is going to be a great coach for you if you're that open and you're kind of broaching that topic first. So that's a really good tip. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, here's another one. First time I had sex with a boy, I was 13, he was 15, and it was after swim practice at school. It was in the locker room shower at 7 o'clock at night. The first time I had sex with a girl, I was 15. How old were you when you first had sex? What are you laughing about?
It's just so casual, and it goes, what about you?
Yeah, what about you?
Oh, that's killed me. That is so funny. It's so cash. It's not even, it doesn't even say what about you. It just says WBU? Question mark. Sorry.
Jake, answer the question. Answer the question.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got a hot flash. Wow, 13's, I guess that's kind of young. I'm not judging anyone, but yeah, I'm sure. It's interesting how I quite not like the fact, but you've had sex with a boy and then you had sex with a girl, just to kind of be like, maybe. Maybe I'll try a little bit.
Let's give this a try.
Maybe the first time wasn't that great, so you just were like, okay, maybe it is girls. Do I answer the what about you bit?
Yeah, I want the what about you.
Well, both times I lost my virginity was actually in a field.
Wow.
That's as much as I'll go into.
Will you tell us how old you were?
I was 16 with a female, and I was 21. COVID times.
Yeah. Totally. I was 21 with a male, and I've never had sex with a woman. I've hooked up with women.
What's it called? Golden and gay.
Gold star gay. But I think that's if you've like never done anything with a woman, right? Or is it just not having sex with a
It's
woman?
a slang term often used jokingly to describe a gay man who has never had sex with a woman.
Okay, I'm a gold star gay.
Gold star gay. I like golden gay though. I feel like that's better.
Did you ever watch Golden Girls?
No.
Anyway,
Okay.
next one.
Done. Yeah. There you go. Can you please do an episode where you talk about kinks and fetishes? See, that's the same guy. I bet you.
I guarantee it for sure.
I think he's the same guy that wanted me to kick him in the balls.
Well, we haven't heard from anyone who said that they're interested.
Sorry,
but we'll let you know.
We will find you someone who wants to be kicked.
We'll keep you updated.
Or
yes,
we'll
exactly.
do the kicking.
Yes. This one was kind of nice. I grew up in a conservative homophobic household and planned to move abroad at 27 to live openly. And then just 2 weeks before leaving, my father tearfully told me he already knew and accepted me and he didn't want to lose me. I still moved, but with peace, and now I visit home often. Like, that was a really nice one.
Aww,
sweet.
that makes me
Sweet.
happy. That's all
Next
it
one.
takes, isn't it? Like, that is just, yeah, that's very nice. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jake and Sam. I just wanted to keep it short and sweet because my story is a lot and complicated, but I'm already loving the podcast. Well, thank you for that. That's very kind.
Thank you.
I'm trying to take the brave step in my own coming out journey, even when it's scary and makes me anxious. But the Gymshark Pride run this year was the start, so thank you. Oh, another nice one. I thought there was going to be a question.
Really
I was
nice
like,
one.
that's really nice. Well,
No, it's
feel
so
free
sweet.
feel free to message us, and we can hopefully help you out. And if you have any questions, then keep asking. We will put them in podcast, or if you want it to be more kind of message based, then hit us up. We're always able to help you.
Let us know. Yeah, absolutely. And I want to come to the Gymshark Pride run next year.
Yeah, it was fun. However, it was so hot that the trains were all cancelled, so we lost about 100 people to the cancelled trains. But I still had 150.
When does that happen for you? Because our Pride month is June. Is it not the same in the UK?
We kind of just do
Just
whatever.
Yeah.
Just, I don't even know at this point. I think it's alphabetical order in how we do our prides based on cities.
What?
Pretty
What do you
sure.
mean alphabetical order?
As in like the cities by alphabet.
That's kind of brilliant.
Is Pride done by Yes. Oh no, maybe.
I mean, cool. You can come to some of our events in June, and then I'll come over across the pond in July.
Yeah, this was
and come to your
actually
Pride
a
event.
week after in July.
Okay, cool.
We want it to be a bit different, you know. It just doesn't have to be Pride Month. It's
No,
Pride all year
totally.
round.
Queer all year.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
You can do the next one.
No, you do it.
I feel like I get exposed with. I obviously do thirst trap, and it's. But sometimes I put things up, and I'm like, "That's not gonna." Like, and then everyone's like, "Thirst trap." I'm like, "Bitch, I can't get away with anything." I think I've just set myself up there, haven't I? But
The
yeah,
confession
thing
was-
yeah. Sorry.
Can we get
Okay.
Sam to post or share some thirst traps like Jake? And I will say, I'm older than you.
You did you put a picture up of you and Jared. That was kind of sexual.
Yeah.
It was like a newborn baby photo.
I think that the thirst trap thing is challenging because when I started posting on social media, I would post thirst traps all the time. And I kind of ran into this issue of I didn't like the way that people felt like they could talk to me when I did that. It was almost that conversation of like, well, if you don't want to get catcalled, like don't wear short
don't
skirts.
put it out there. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I can't control what other people do, but I can control what I post. And if it's bothering me that these people feel like they can speak to me like that, then I should just not post that shit, which sucks. Like, who doesn't love posting good thirst trap? But
Clearly,
it just wasn't worth it to me.
Clearly me.
Well, apparently you're like, fuck the haters. And, you're like, I'm not going to let them get to me.
Apparently so. Right, I got another one. Before coming out, I had sex with my girlfriend in her parents' house whilst they were away. I say had sex because I've realised since that I entered the wrong hole. Always meant to be gay! Exclamation mark.
Do you think this is real? I mean,
surely not. Surely
it can't be
she would-
real.
Surely she would know.
Say something.
Or yeah, because
Scream.
without a little bit of like foreplay,
Wait.
that's going to be pretty painful.
I mean, yeah, I had a friend once who said that this happened to her.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it like going in by accident, or like
Yeah.
pushing, but like going in and then continuously
Continuing
sex.
Yeah, I don't think that probably happened, but yes, I think that what you said might have happened.
Little poke in the wrong region.
God damn it. Great. Okay. Let's do one more. This one's funny. Dated a girl for 4 years. I knew I was gay. Actually had a crush on her brother. Classic. Fast forward, I came out and ended up with a drunk hookup with him. No one knows. He's now straight and married. I mean, we've all been there, you know?
I just fancied the dad rather than the brother.
Did that ever come to fruition, or was it just always like a fantasy?
What, did I ever get with someone's dad?
Yeah.
No, I fucking wish. That would be so hot. No, sadly
Okay,
not.
a good fantasy.
Yeah.
It's good.
Straight and married, though. I mean, to be fair, like, I feel like people can't really be bi these, not can't be bi, but I feel like that's quite a big topic, isn't it? Like the bisexual topic.
Yeah, we should get into that.
So, yeah, I mean, fair play to him. If he is happily married with kids and he wanted to have a hot, steamy kissing session with you, then why not?
I feel like there have been a couple of people in my life and in friends' lives who they've like hooked up with guys, and then those guys will get married, and then they almost immediately get divorced though. And you're like, oh, that's sad. That sucks, you know?
Yeah. It's a difficult topic, isn't it? Like I've had a lot of people message me being like, yeah, I've got wife and kids and I don't know how to come out to them. And I'm like, I have no experience in that department. As much as I'd love to help you, I really can't offer much. But it's obviously, it happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like a lot more than people think.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's going to happen less and less, hopefully, that people feel like they can live more authentically, that bisexuality is more of a thing and is more accepted, you know? We'll see.
We will see.
Y'all, today we are so incredibly excited to have our first guest on the pod, Alec Smith. Thanks for being here, Alec.
Of course.
Alec is an elite CrossFit athlete whose journey has inspired thousands, both inside and outside the gym. Alec has competed at the highest levels of CrossFit, both individually and part of the podium finishing CrossFit Krypton team. In 2019, he chose to come out publicly, helping pave the way for greater LGBTQIA plus visibility in fitness. The only out male CrossFit athlete that I know of, I need to get fact checked on that, but that I know of. Today, he balances his passion for training with coaching, community advocacy, and sharing his life with his fiancé, Riley, and their 2 dogs. Alec, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I feel honored to be the first guest. What you guys are doing is awesome.
First guest. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
First of many, hopefully. We'll see where it takes us. I
I'm
was
kind of
lucky
mad you
enough-
didn't tell us all to get popsicles, Jake, because that would have been like a good bit.
Sorry. For anyone just listening, it's a very phallic ice lolly as well. So
We wouldn't
But
have
yes.
it any other way.
anyway. I was lucky enough to spend probably over a week with you in New York recently. So we got to know each other well. But we are going to ask you some questions and then kind of just see where we go. And we can hear your wonderful doggy in the background, I believe. But yeah, Sam, take it away. Ask some questions and we'll see where we go.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so let's start off just with you being an unbelievable athlete. I remember this video. I think of you squat cleaning an insane amount of weight. And I remember that as like my first time getting introduced to you. But having competed at the CrossFit Games as an individual twice and then getting second as a team at CrossFit Krypton, how are you feeling about CrossFit these days? For yourself, like how you look at CrossFit and then what you kind of look at CrossFit as a whole right now, where it's going.
Yeah, I officially stopped competing in CrossFit in 2023. I went team with my brother and a few of my friends from CrossFit Krypton. So that was my last CrossFit competition. And then, I continued doing CrossFit. I have arthritis in my hips, which I got diagnosed with a couple years ago. So it's been like something I've been trying to recover from, but nothing has really been working. So decided to take a step back from like the competitive side of CrossFit. So 2023 is my last year there. And then, after I will always like do CrossFit because I really do think is the best way for people to stay fit, functional movements. I do think it creates like the most well-rounded athletes, I think, as a sport and as like, a workout modality. But yeah, so like I stopped competing in 2023 and then, everything happened in 2024. and I just didn't agree with how everything was handled. And so kind of have taken a step back after that. And I didn't watch the CrossFit Games this year. You know, a lot of things have changed since 2021, 2022. I will continue to do CrossFit and support the community. My family has a CrossFit gym here in the area, and you know what the gym does as like a community building aspect is amazing. And so I go to the gym almost every day and still do CrossFit, but I won't like compete in it anymore just because of the way some things were handled. And you know, I'm going through some physical struggles myself. Took a step back from CrossFit. Still jumping into like a few different things here and there. I did my first High Rocks in New York City where I met Jake, and then I'm doing like a sport called Grid right now too. So staying in the fitness area, just like I have to be doing something. I can't sit still or I go stir crazy, but still use CrossFit to train, just not competing anymore.
Yeah, and we'll get into Grid in a little bit because I think it looks so cool. I'm excited to kind of jump into that. Jake, you want to take our next question?
Yeah, probably the one on everyone's lips when you ask kind of a famous or CrossFit person or someone who has come out, what's your coming out story? And I'm sure we'll get onto some funny stories in a bit because we did preempt you that we would be talking out of bounds potentially.
Yeah. So long story short, I guess you could say, I had come out to friends and family probably about a year before I publicly came out.
And how old were you at that time?
So I was either 24 or 25. I think I told my first friend when I was 24 and then told my family when I was 25. So a lot of my friends and family knew. After coming out to like friends and family in the area that I lived in, it was not like the reaction, you know, that you want. It was not like 100% fully accepting. And so I kind of felt trapped in the area that I was living in at the time. So that's why I moved to New York, and like that's what kind of like sprung up the action to move to New York. And so I moved to New York in 2018, maybe it had just been 2019. And so I was still kind of like publicly not out. I'd been living in New York for about 6 months before I did publicly come out. So like all my friends knew, my family knew, everyone I had competed with knew. And so it just like got to the point at like the 2019 CrossFit Games, like the year that I was competing with my team where we got second that year. It was just like everyone was like, are you gay? Like, is he gay? Like, it was just like the DMs, the messages, people asking. Cause it was like the biggest point in my career was that year. So it was like a lot of eyes were on our team and a lot of questions. And I was just like, I never really felt the need to publicly come out until like all of that was kind of like feeling like it was like bombarding me and kind of like overwhelming me. Like I was happy telling my friends, my family, but then like, so I'd been living in New York for a while. I had never had like a guy that I felt strongly about enough to the point where I needed to like publicly come out, because it's like I don't know if I was like asexual, I don't know like what I was. Like I had never connected with another like human being. And so I had been with, you know, girls before that. I had been with one guy before I moved to New York, and it was not a great experience. So like after that, I was like, what am I? Like I didn't enjoy it. He was not a great person.
Yeah.
And so
labels
labels
can be tough though, can't they? Because it's one of them where it's like you're either gay or you're straight. Obviously you like, or bi, but like there's no kind of like, it doesn't really, no one tells you what you can and can't be. You just have to conform to these like norms from society.
Right, exactly. Like I knew I was physically attracted to guys, but at the same time, there were times where I was physically attracted to girls, but I was like younger. And so I was like kind of very confused at where I was in that point in my life. And so I had been with a couple guys. So I'd like told my friends and my parents. My parents I came out to my parents by introducing them to a guy that I was like seeing at the time. So that's how I came out to my parents. And then that fizzled out after a couple weeks, and then moved to New York. And I met Riley probably a week before I made the coming out video. So like after I met Riley, that was like the first time where I felt a connection with somebody, and I was like, okay, I could see myself like spending my life with that person, you know? And I'd been in New York for about 6 months. So I had like been on dates. I'd been on a couple second and third dates. Like living in New York and experiencing that lifestyle is like made me realize this is what I wanted to pursue. Like this makes way more sense than dating girls in college and high school.
Yeah.
So like the connection with guys was just much stronger than the connection with girls. And so that's kind of what led to the coming out video. I had just got done competing at the CrossFit Games. We had just podiumed. And so I just felt very suffocated by all of the attention and questions. And it wasn't just like a few people here and there. It was like big name people asking me and like wanting to know. I'm like, why do you want to know? Why is it that important? Like, why can't it just be like, it was just a big deal for me and in my point in my life at the time where I felt the need to do that. I'm so happy I did. Yeah, that was kind of like the reason why I publicly came out, even though I had come out previously to like family and friends. Just after the games and after living in New York and meeting people that I had connections with, I just knew that's who I was. And so felt the need to share it with other people, and hopefully it inspired some people to, you know, come out themselves or be comfortable enough to like join a CrossFit gym or like feel safe in that space. But yeah, so long story short, it ended up being a long story, but there it is.
It's challenging when you're getting those messages, and if they were coming from a place of sincerity and kind of being like, oh, they like cared about me, as opposed to them kind of like wanting like some gossip about like, are you gay? There's such a different thing there, you know?
100%. Yeah. And it did feel very gossipy at the time, which is like, and I didn't like that, you know? So I just felt the need to, you know, just post it and just get it over with. Everyone knows now. So I just like, I wanted to get it over with for that reason, but at the same time, there were other reasons behind it as well. That's not like the only reason why, but it was very overwhelming at the time. And I was like, I just didn't understand why it had to be this way instead of just like being able to date who you wanted without having to like make this big announcement, you know? And like at the time this was 2019, you know, things are different now, which is amazing. They're still not that much different, but things have changed since then. But yeah, it's just like, hopefully things change even more in the future.
Yeah. Do you see other athletes coming out in CrossFit right now?
Not at the like main level, not at like the high competitive level. Females, there are a few like females that are competing at the high level that are out, but I don't know of another male competitor that's competing at the individual level right now. There are a couple that compete on teams that I'm good friends with who are amazing athletes that could be competing individual, but I don't know if there are any individually. I kind of like took a step back. I didn't really pay attention to the games this year as much as I was so hyper focused and obsessed with CrossFit back in my teens and early 20s. It was like my life. So it's so different now, not really being in that world. But at the time, there wasn't anyone to, you know, look up to or anyone to be like, I could be that person. So another reason why is like, I wanted to be that person for someone else. You know, like I wanted somebody to see, okay, that person is competing at the highest level of CrossFit. They are open, they are gay. Like I can do that too. Which I didn't have when I was younger. There were other, you know, guys that were openly gay competing in sports at the time. Not that many, but like there were some. I was like, okay, you know, this is cool. This is possible. Yeah, it was just
who were those role models for you? Did any like come to mind right now?
The first one that pops in my head is like Gus, you know, like kissing his boyfriend at the time on the Olympic stage. Like that was so cool because it was like the first time an Olympian had like done that publicly. So that's like just like the first one that pops into my mind. So that was cool to see.
How was the CrossFit space? Obviously, there was a little bit of kind of like gossiping side of things, but like once you'd come out, was it like kind of like a non-topic, or was it still kind of like a thing, or was everyone pretty accepting? What was your experience?
Definitely like it definitely brushed over quickly. So like after I came out, I was like, okay, he's out. We know. Kind of like it brushed over quickly, which was great. Everyone, the responses were mostly overwhelmingly positive. Like all my good friends, all my closest friends were so supportive. But yeah, the community was the biggest part. Like there were so many DMs and comments that just like brought tears to my eyes and like made me so happy that I had like shared that video and shared that part of my life with them. But yeah, it's just like, it was great. I mean, obviously there were negative sides, but like I don't want to focus on those, and I try not to focus on those because like the positives are so much better. There were a lot of, you know, close friends of mine that I competed with that like unfollowed me at the time, and I'm like, all right, you know, see ya.
Wow.
It is what it is. It's like
good
CrossFit.
Riddance.
Yeah, CrossFit like originated in, you know, like the religious background, like the military background. So it's just like that is their following, and that's like who they have catered towards since the beginning of CrossFit. So I get it. Like most of my followers are straight white men that like CrossFit, and that's like CrossFit. You know, that's what CrossFit originated from, which is fine. But like the amount of people that did reach out that I didn't know were supportive was great. I made so many new friends. Like I met so many new people because of it. I, you know, felt way more free afterwards, and the goods definitely outweighed the bads for sure.
It's such a good reminder because I think that sometimes I make it so black and white that, you know, there is such a big part of CrossFit that has different, you know, political beliefs than me or different religious beliefs than me. And I try to not make it like an us and them thing or like a me and them thing. But ultimately, when we start working out together, it does tend to kind of be that equalizer of kind of being like, hey, we just want to be healthy and this is a great community. And most people are good people going to CrossFit. And that's a really lovely thing.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. Like the gym that I go to the area is definitely a little bit more of a conservative area, but I'd say 99.9% of the members there are amazing and loving and supportive and love Riley and love when we come to the gym and work out together. Like we are the only 2 gay men that go to that gym. I think there's one other gay guy that goes to the gym in the afternoons. But everyone like loves us there and they're so nice and like supportive. So it's just like that community aspect is so important, and just like being around somebody who is different and like knowing and accepting them for who they are is so important as well. Because I think a lot of people that are so against it all have never been around somebody who is gay or somebody who is different. Like they grow up in that environment that is the same for wherever you go. It's the same. You're like taught the same things, born and raised the same way. You've never experienced anything different, so like they don't know anything different. And like unfortunately, when I was growing up, like I was my dad was in the Navy, so we moved around a lot. We had been in one place for a year, this place for a year. So like we were kind of born and raised in like we were religious growing up. Like my parents were very conservative growing up. Like we grew up in very small towns. So like I understand that side of it. So I'm like so happy that I am gay because I would have probably never experienced being around like people who are different or like another gay person or so I'm so happy I am the way that I am. And I've been able to like change people's minds and show people, like my parents included, show people that like, gay people are no different. We're people, we have feelings.
Did that make your life difficult when you came out? Was that another barrier to coming out? Like the religious side and your own personal beliefs in a way?
Definitely. Yeah. I think it was the main reason why it took me so long to come out. I mean, not so long, but I came out when I was 24 to friends, 25 to my parents, which is, it shouldn't be that way. Like you should be able to know who you are at a very young age and live your life from, I knew that I was gay when I was 12, 11, 12 years old. And so a lot of people know much younger. A lot of people find out later in life. But it did make it hard for sure. Like we grew up very religious. So you're taught that like it's wrong. And so you just like kind of push it deeper and deeper inside of you until like, it just had to come out eventually, or else it was just gonna like destroy me. I was not happy growing up because of it. So I kind of like used CrossFit as, a huge focus in my life. I was so hyper focused on winning the CrossFit Games and being the fittest on earth because I didn't want to deal with like who I was as a person.
And if you did that, you would probably create a form of validation to parents and family and friends, as well as yourself.
Exactly.
That it ticks a box and makes you kind of like impossible to ignore and dislike or whatever.
Yeah, I'm the fittest man on earth,
Yeah,
like,
what are you going to do
You're
about
going
it?
to judge me for being gay? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So just having that to focus on, it did help, but yeah.
I think that's a great segue into, we said that we'd be asking you some coming out stories, and we wanted you to rack your brain for if anything came to mind of things that you did pre-24, pre-coming out that were just dumb or funny or crazy.
I wasn't that much of a wild child. Like I was very...
Oh, Alec.
When I was younger, I was a goody two shoes, straight A's, like never did anything wrong when I was a kid. But I don't know. I think just like whenever I were like dating a girl or something, it would always be like a girl that was like my best friend. And then like when things started to get to like the physical point, I would be like, all right, I'm breaking up with you. I can't do this. Like
these poor girls.
Like I remember like one girl specifically, like she was probably my best friend. We were never like dating, but then like there was like one point my senior year of high school, like she sat me down. She was like, Alec, you're gay. And I was like, no, what are you like? What are you talking about? No, I'm not. She's like, yeah, you are. Like I've been dropping hints. Yeah. She was super attractive, like super sweet. Like everyone wanted to date her. And I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, yeah, you are. And like, no, I'm not. And like immediately at that point, I just started like making out with her. And I was just like, just to like prove to her. I was like, no, I'm not. And then like we just started making out. And I just remember the whole time. It lasted maybe like 20 seconds. I was like, this is not it. But like, I don't know. I just like had to prove to her that I wasn't. So it was like the first time like that we made out.
No, it's brilliant.
I mean, I think it worked. After that, she still, wanted to date. So I was like, maybe she doesn't think I'm gay anymore. But
have you messaged her? Have you messaged her since?
We actually No, we have not talked since then. Well, since like we graduated, we haven't talked since we graduated. So I think she kind of knew the whole time.
You should text her and be like, "I'm gay now."
I'm sure she knows. I'm sure she's seen it somewhere. But yeah, she would have been the first to say something.
This is putting you on the spot for sure. But is there anything that your parents or your siblings have said to you? They're like, "That's when I knew you were gay."
No, because after I came out to them, I had this conversation with my mom and my dad. I was like, I'm the same person. Because at first they were just so thrown aback by it. Like, they didn't talk to me for a while. And like, we had that conversation where I was like, nothing is changing with who I am. Like, I'm still this person. And I was like, did you have any idea? Like, did you know, like, you had to have known something. Like, I hadn't been in a relationship for longer than 6 months was like my longest relationship. And my mom was just like, no, I had no idea. I'm like, she was probably lying to me. But like, no, she didn't know. She said she didn't know, but like, I think that she knew deep down. She just didn't want to admit it. But no, there weren't any like, I mean, I was a very like nonchalant child. So like, I was very like go with the flow, lackadaisical, like wasn't very loud or like, I kind of like kept to myself, but I was like, you had to have known I was gay growing up. Like I wasn't attracted to girls. I never really, I guess I had a lot of girls around because like all my best friends are girls. Like I always surround myself with girls because I feel like, I can get along with them better as friends.
But that's a telltale sign,
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think they just thought that I was dating one of them at the time or like whenever they were around.
All of them.
Like, yeah, I remember I had my graduation party. It was like 15 girls and 2 guys. And I was like, how'd you not know?
I think our parents kind of choose not to know because my parents said that they didn't know either for a while. And I was choreographing dance routines to Britney Spears at like 5, like constantly. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, their gaydar's a bit off there.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so closing out the CrossFit thing really quick. Do you have any advice to, closeted athletes or athletes who are newly coming out who feel like coming out could maybe hurt their career?
Yeah, for sure. Like I think if it is your choice to be competing in something at the highest level, I think you need to be starting with the goal of winning. If you're starting with like any other goal, you're not going to succeed in that sport. So starting anything, like you want to start to be the best. Like if your goal is to compete in whatever it is, like if your goal is not to be the best, like you're not going to succeed. So like if you are going into something like worried about something like that, I feel like it's hard for you to give it your 100%, like give it everything you have. So like for me, what helped me was just like surrounding myself with people who, again, why I moved to New York is I needed to be with people who agreed with my lifestyle and like loved me for who I was. And after I moved to New York, I surrounded myself with people like that. And that was my best year, my best finish. I was the fittest I was in my entire life. Just like surrounding yourself with the community of like-minded people who accept you and love you for who you are, I think is so important. And then just like, if you are going to start something, even if it's sport related, non-sport related, you need to like start it 1 because you love it and 2 because you want to be the best, or else you're not going to succeed in that sport or whatever it is that you're doing.
Do you think everyone who's struggling in like a small town environment should move to a bigger, more liberal based city for their own
100%.
Personal journey and process?
I think every human being should experience different lifestyles and different, religions, different areas at some point in their life. Like anyone that is born and raised in the same area is not going to be able to like relate to other people or understand where other people come from. And I think that's where a lot of like this side and that side comes from, is those people only know one thing and only have lived one way and only understand one culture. I think everyone should move to a different city, move to a bigger city, like visit small towns, visit small towns. I think everyone should live in a bigger city at one point, just because of like, you learn so much about yourself, about other people. It's so important to like experience that. And like, I had never been out of the country until I was about 24 years old, 23 maybe. I competed in Dubai at like a CrossFit competition. So like that was my first time outside of the country. I learned so much being there. Like I met a lot of people that were living in Dubai. Like that was the only thing they knew, their culture. So like I was like, okay, this is so crazy they live this way. This was my first time ever experiencing that. And then, just through CrossFit, got to travel to different places, which is like a huge reason why I moved to New York. I was like, I need to be in a bigger city with a lot of people who are from different backgrounds that like understand different people and unique people, and like it's just not the same in a small town. But yeah, definitely. I definitely think people should experience bigger cities for a good amount of time of their lives.
It makes so much sense to me what you were saying about, you need to be in an area where you feel completely accepted. if you're trying to be the best in something, that can't be in the back of your brain, like you having to constantly think about whether or not the people who you're going to the gym with are like judging you from afar, and like you need that support system. I totally agree.
Yeah, 100%. You can't like give it your all unless you love and accept yourself for who you are, for sure.
So you're up there with probably the most handsome couple. Tell us how you and Riley met, and am I correct in saying you're engaged?
Yeah. Mm.
When is said wedding? And yeah, tell us everything. Tell us from the beginning.
That's probably like the most asked question I get is like when the wedding is, because we've been engaged for almost 4 years now. Yeah, Riley.
Wow.
Riley just said 3 years. It's been a little over 3 years now. But we met at Market Days, so it's like a big gay party in Chicago through mutual friends, and then didn't start dating until maybe like 6 months after that. We actually went to Australia together. I was competing in the Australia CrossFit Championships at the time, pre-COVID, like a month before everything shut down. And then I stayed in Australia for a couple weeks. He flew home, and then I went to Hawaii for a week, and then like 2-3 days later, they shut down the borders and were like, you can't travel outside of the States. I was in Hawaii. I was like, I don't want to go back to New York. Like, New York was like the hot spot at the time. Like, everyone was quarantined. So I was like, I can't go back to New York. Like, where am I going to go? And so I actually flew to Minnesota, quarantined at Riley's family's lake house. It was just me and him at a lake house for like 3 months. Lake was frozen over. Yeah. It was like, you know, we had fires going every night. We lived with each other like from the start for like 3 months straight, and we were just like, all right, well, if we can live with each other,
that is deep end. Yeah,
it was, and it was like, it was crazy because like it was at a point in my life where it was like CrossFit, competition. Like I had been traveling. This was like the biggest point in my career, and then just everything shuts down. And so it went from like this CrossFit focus to now I'm like in a relationship, quarantined with someone I had just met, and we have not been apart since then for more than like 3 days. So yeah, we quarantined together at his lake house, and then I went back to Virginia and stayed with my family for a couple months. Then he came to stay with me and my family for a couple months, and we kind of like went back and forth. So that's how we met. It was like a trip to Australia, and then kind of got quarantined together at his lake house in Minnesota, which was really nice. Like I really enjoyed the time. 'Cause, you know, like the very beginning of relationships are so, you know, you're head over heels for the other person, and you're just like, it's the best time for sure. So we had a great time there, and then got engaged like 2 years later, which like he kind of pressured me into proposing. So I was like, I didn't like, I don't know, I the idea of like marriage, I understand it and get it, but like, you know, we would go out and like have a few drinks, and he'd be like, so when are you proposing to me? He like kept saying that for the like 6 months. I was like, all right. So I proposed. And then we've been engaged for 3 years now. And I think like the thing that is stopping us from having a wedding is like the money side of it. Cause like we want to have like a nice big wedding, because he has a huge family. Like his extended family goes into the 200-300s, and they would be upset. It's crazy. We have like yearly Christmas Eve parties that like are well over 100 people. Like the first year we went was like 150 people there. I'm still learning names after 5 years of going. So he has a big like,
it's kind of a Midwest thing.
It is, yeah. So he's from Minnesota. Minnesota. And so his family is super sweet. Like they're all so loving, and like they're great. So I think that's kind of what's stopping us is like the money side of it. And so like I am a Virgo, so I'm very just like, this is what's happening next. I'm very like, you know, we're going to do this and this and this. And so like we wanted to start a family before the wedding, because it's very, very, very expensive for two gay men to have a child. I'm sure you guys know this.
So expensive. Yes.
And so we actually started the process in 2022, and we had 7 failed embryo transfers, and then like ran out of embryos. And so kind of we're just like, had no money, had no plan. What do we do now? And so we're still kind of like recovering from that and trying to figure out what our next steps are, because like weddings are not cheap, and like we want to start a family. And I think that's number one for us, is starting a family, and then eventually having some type of, you know, celebration or ceremony or something. So like I think our order is a little bit different than traditional people's orders are, but that's just what we want to do first. So we're just trying to save up to try again, and so hopefully that works out, and then maybe a wedding after that. Maybe we might just elope somewhere.
Yeah.
We've been talking about that too. We were like in Vegas a year ago, and we're like, should we just go get married right here? So I feel like that's probably gonna happen, and then his family's gonna get mad at me, but I don't know. We'll see.
Alec,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That is so challenging because I think that we do talk about the money side of it a lot, but even more than that is like the emotional side of that. Like you're so excited. And then if you think that if you're spending all that money, that it's like a shoe-in that everything would work out. And you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And,
that
like,
sucks.
no, it's okay. We definitely have like, we've been there for each other through it. And like, that's what's most important is just like supporting each other through it. And like, it is very, very emotional. Like, I don't think I've cried as much in my life that I did through that whole process. But it's like important to share too, because you do see like the great positive side of it. But I don't think that many people really share like the hard negative sides of it either. And so like family is number one to us. And then like a wedding, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Like I don't really, it's not because like we don't want to get married. It's just like everything costs money nowadays. So we
So
might
expensive.
we might just elope somewhere and then like have a party with his family in Minnesota or something like that. But yeah, so it's been an interesting past couple of years because it's like I'm so used to just like planning things out and like this is gonna happen, then it just like doesn't happen. You're like, all right, what's gonna happen next? Like it's been a whirlwind for sure, but wouldn't want to do it with anyone else.
Cool. And to wrap this up, we said we were going to come back to Grid League. I've been seeing on your social that that's something that you've been doing pretty regularly now. Can you tell us more about that? Because it looks so fucking cool.
Yeah. So Grid League's been around since like 2014, 2015 is when like the first year they had it. They started the league about 10 years ago, and then it fizzled out after like 3 years because of like money reasons. It went bankrupt. And so the new league that I'm competing in now started about 6 years ago. So they started very, very, very small. It was called like the Florida Grid League, and it's been around for about 6-7 years now. So now it's the United Grid League. There are teams from Vegas, all over the states instead of just in Florida. So it's super cool. It's like, it's a very fun sport to watch. And like, it's the only professional co-ed sport that exists, which is really, really cool. Team co-ed sport that exists. And I love it just because of like the diversity. Like you can bring in like a strongman, they go in and crush what they're good at. You bring in like a gymnast, they go in and crush what they're good at. You can bring in like specialists, so it's not
You're
like
the specialist. You're the gymnast specialist.
Yeah, so I'm like the gymnastics bodyweight specialist on my team, which is like all the stuff that I love doing, and like I could do it the rest of my life because it doesn't involve my hips. I'm like, give me what I need for my arms. Like, put me upside down. I got you.
I think we should show
it's really
some.
fun.
We should show some videos because some of the stuff that you can do with your body is insane.
I'll try and add some videos for sure. It is so cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a fun sport and it's very confusing. So I think a lot of people don't understand it and don't like know how it works. But like it's really fun to do and fun to watch if you know how it's run. So like I hope it goes well and I hope that the league is successful because like it's super cool, super diverse. Like there are so many gay men and women competing in it. There's so many like bigger men and women competing in it. There's so many like smaller. It's just like the diversity is really cool. And like the whole race from start to finish is always like just super nail biting and intense.
Yeah.
So I love it. I enjoy it. I'm hoping to do it until my body says no. Cause like I always have to have something to train for or do. So yeah,
is that purely US based?
Yes, right now it is.
Yeah.
There was a girl from Dubai who came out to compete in the last race that we did. So they flew her out from Dubai, but mostly US based. I think the furthest team is like Las Vegas, Florida, Texas, and there's like a New York team that's starting next year. So it's becoming a little bit more over the states. So hopefully it becomes international. That'd be really, really cool. But they're just like, they're starting very small and slowly growing instead of like going all in too fast, too quick.
Yeah,
to like,
it's pretty fun. Do you have to be in person to watch it, or can you like stream it and stuff?
They have them on YouTube, so they stream them live on YouTube. Then you can like go back and watch them on YouTube as well. So you don't have to be there like in person to watch, but you can watch them live on YouTube.
I need to go and watch a full race.
Yeah,
me
it's cool.
too.
The live streams are fun. They kind of explain the races and explain everything, so like you understand a little bit of it. But it is confusing if you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for chatting with us, Alec. This has been amazing.
Yeah, anytime at all. Thank you guys for having me. That was fun.
Okay, should we wrap this up? How was your training this week? Weekly pulse check, cool down.
Pretty good. It's been nice weather here in the UK. I did actually do a half marathon today, so listeners will be able to kind of tell when we recorded this. But it was tough. I feel pretty positive, although I didn't get the time I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
My reflection is my fitness was good. I just had a little bit of fatigue in my legs, which meant I didn't get the exact time that I wanted. But pretty happy. We'll see how I feel tomorrow, and that will kind of dictate the week. And I've got my guitar lesson and my golf lesson this week coming. So I'm learning 2 new things.
Yeah,
Well,
this is
golf
exciting.
Golf I can already play, but I want to get better because it's a tough sport. If you don't have lessons, like you just I have an on-course lesson, so you go and do the whole kind of like round of golf with a coach with you, so they can tell you kind of like what shot you should play, like how you would play the shot differently. Whereas if you just have a lesson at the driving range, they're kind of just changing your swing rather than your like play and method of playing and things.
Yeah. Golf gives me a lot of anxiety because I'm so bad at it.
It's a tough sport.
It is.
What about you? What's your training been like? How's your week looking?
So we just finished week 1 of our 6-week training block before High Rocks in Boston. And it was kind of a hard week. I think that my body is pretty roughed up, but I was happy with it. Probably the hardest workout that we did was our track workout. We did 8x800 with 2 minutes of rest in between. And it just like really pushed my aerobic capacity.
That's a Jake set, isn't that?
Yeah. I mean, I do love a track workout, but I was doing it with a friend of mine and we are so equally matched that I think it couldn't have been better. In terms of if you're working out with someone who's way better than you, you don't necessarily push as hard as you can. If you're working with someone who's way lower at a lower level than you, you're not necessarily pushing as hard as you can. I feel like only when y'all are at like almost the exact same level do you really feel like you have to like hit that extreme. So that was this week. It was tough. Jared and I are doing a pickleball tournament for Meta this week. That's exciting. I think
that's fun.
Do you know the tennis player who's like a badass? Her name is
American.
No. Tennis player. 1 second. Female. She's kind of like always a little mean. Yes. What is her first name?
Andrea.
Is it E? Why is this impossible for me? Arna.
Oh,
Aryna.
Sabalenka.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that she's moderating it. Yeah.
She's cool.
So I'm excited to see her. That'll be cool. And then we're also going upstate this week. I thought it was last week. Nope, it's actually this week. So it'll be fun. Yeah. Cool. Well,
what do people need to know? Same as always. Stay tuned. Stay sexy.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And then follow us on Instagram for more updates on upcoming pods.
Bye.
Bye.